I remember just thinking to myself one day how pointless everything is and how pointless everything would seem. Like I literally envisioned my life in like 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead. And I was like, everything doesn't make sense if I don't go on to change everything about myself. Like if I don't become successful, if I don't change my mind, my body, all these things. Because it was like, okay, if I don't do this and fix myself, I'm not gonna get like a beautiful wife or a loving partner. Because who the fuck is gonna like me for who I currently am? I'm out of shape. I'm broke. Uh, I'm not the kind of man that I even see myself in my head. I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna have a life partner, and if I don't have money, I'm not gonna be able to even buy myself a house, even move out. I'm gonna live with my parents when I'm 30, 40, or 50, whatever it is, right? Um, or things along those lines. And then the worst part of that too was like, okay, if I just go through my life being normal and get a good job, then essentially I will work like a slave until I die. And so all of these things were going through my head when I was in the middle of university. I was like 3 semesters into college because I wanted to go and be an orthodontist. And I was in this biology class, and I just remember thinking to myself how stupid it was that I was sitting there actively trying to learn about all of these crazy terms to describe cells and their functions. I remember I was specifically on like one of the science campuses, and I just remember thinking to myself like how stupid the whole idea was. Because at this point, it was in 2020, COVID happened, and so with COVID, then the next semester after that, actually, I remember there was like a lot more time came up in my life because school then went online next semester, or maybe it was even in the middle of the semester. I don't remember, but all of a sudden things went online, lockdown happened, and so you couldn't just go anywhere. You couldn't really hang out with the boys anymore. What I then resorted to was like playing video games for 4, 5, 6 hours every single night. Um, and so just left with a lot more time. And so with that time, luckily, bro, I spent it on YouTube and like dabbling into entrepreneurship and making money. And I was already kind of an entrepreneur at heart because my family has a business. And so it was always like from a young age, I understood that my parents don't have like a regular job because I help them. But as I started to think about these things and dabble into YouTube because I had this time, I remember just getting in the mindset eventually at one point, once I was so fed up, bro, with the life that I was living. Because again, I was going to school, fucking, we were drinking at the clubs every single weekend, spending so much money. Like I would literally, listen how I was saying this. I would work for 2 weeks, okay? And then we would go to the clubs on that Saturday or whatever, and I would spend like more than 50% of the money it took me to make in 2 weeks, and over and over and over again. Like, just think to yourself how insane that is. You work 2 weeks to then go to the club on a Friday or Saturday and to spend most of it. Like, it was crazy to me now that I look back on it. But eventually, like, dude, you do that for so long and you chase the girls, right, to go out to get some bitches and drink and have fun with the boys or whatever. It's like you dig yourself in a very deep hole, bro. And that's what all led to like these thought processes and these questions firing off in my head anyway, and becoming more self-aware. Because I would just look in the mirror, bro, after completely disregarding my mind and my body and just distracting myself consistently. And I was ashamed, bro. Because I remember I was like an athlete for most of my life. Like, this is going to sound crazy, but I was in shape for most of my life. Because I always played soccer. Like, I had a six pack. I wasn't necessarily like built, but I was like that skinny soccer player, right? And then what would happen is I just fell off for like 2 to 3 years. My last year of high school as a sophomore, because I graduated early, um, I kind of let myself go a little. I stopped going to like practice consistently for the soccer team because I was, getting with girls. I wasn't necessarily the popular guy in high school, bro. Um, and then I went to college after that. So I graduated early, went to college, and I was just lost, bro. At that point, I stopped all physical activity. So I was just slowly falling off everything. And it's like Imagine being healthy and fit for most of your life and then just 3 years, bro, just fucking tank you down into the ground. Um, and it was just insane because it brought me to like such a bad place mentally and physically. It was crazy. So then finally, what I'm getting at, boys, with this story is like, I then had to put myself into the mindset of the other complete side. And that was the mindset, bro, of just thinking to myself, like, how pointless everything is. Um, if I don't like be very, very successful in some way, shape, or form, right? If I don't fix myself, if I don't make the money, if I don't start my own businesses, whatever, go on to do like amazing things. And so with that line of questioning, it was like, okay, any time spent on like anything that's not having to do with making me money or has to do with like my mental health, physical well-being, like I'm not gonna do it, bro, because it's just literally another day of me being behind. Like I'm always in the mindset of like, I'm behind, I need to work harder. Because what I would see, right, with Instagram, with YouTube, when I was dabbling, I would see all of these dudes, bro, these young dudes just printing money in Miami, in Dubai, in like all of these other countries. And they weren't working for anybody. They didn't have to fucking clock in every day, think about going to work the next day. And it just blew my mind. And so I would just continuously be comparing myself to that. And like, bro, I need to catch up. I am so behind. I'm already at this point, I think I was 17 going on 18. And it's just like, what am I doing, bro? And that's why it was like any time that is going to anything. I mean, bro, I took it to the extremes with my mind, like slowly. And as time went on, like, I just remember there were so many days and so many times where, and this is one of the craziest things about growing up and becoming more self-aware. It's like you slowly start to realize your family's, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like as you grow old, as you become more aware and you become an adult in a way, or like you can start really thinking, you start to realize your own family's mistakes in a way, or like just their ways of thinking, because you're around them and you see the things they do. And so as this was all happening, I just realized how normal life is for most people, and like how they come home from work and then they just like chill for the rest of the day, and then they do it again and again and again and again, over and over and over again, and never wanting some change, or like just wasting time in the afternoon is how I thought about it, or going to do some kind of activity that only has to do with like entertainment or pleasure, right? And so I remember all these things, and it just became so much aware to me of like how everything is garbage, bro. And in that was it like, okay, the only thing I'm gonna do is work, is go to the gym, is improve. And like I'm saying, with the mindset, it was just like, holy shit, I can see, well, number one, I never understood really why people wanted to be, or why people never really chased change. At the time, didn't really understand it. Now I do, more so better than I did 4.5, 5 years ago. But it was like, holy shit, it's so easy to just stay distracted all the time. And I can see why most people never get in the shape that they want to get into, never change their mindset, never, go on to make more money. It's because like they're stuck in a cycle. And it's like, if you find yourself in that position right now, bro, you're probably just stuck in a cycle, like a hamster wheel that's going over and over and over again and again and again. And it's like, until you break out of that loop, until you decide, until you fucking hit rock bottom, it's like, you're never gonna break out of that, bro, because you're never else gonna seek that change, right? Or in a way, like, I remember I'll talk to some people and they'll be like, okay, yeah, so when I get in this position, then I'll do something. And it's like, bro, what you have to realize is you being in a certain position is what's driving that change, right? That's what drove my change, is like being in a very, very bad place. And so it's like, when you say, okay, you're gonna wait for certain things to happen or for your situation to get a little better before you change, it's like, dude, you're no longer gonna seek that change anymore once you've put yourself in a better position, or financially, mentally, whatever. It's like, because the only reason you're seeking the change is because you're in like a really bad position. So it's like, nothing changes if nothing changes, bro. And that exact like line of questioning just changed everything. I was like, bro, I cannot be doing everything that I'm doing right now. If nothing changes in my life right now, nothing is going to change. And so I had to reinvent myself mentally. And in reinventing myself mentally, did my actions follow? And so I tried to mimic what I was seeing online, because it's very hard nowadays to find people that are very much alike in the real world. And at least it was for me specifically back then, and with COVID too. So I was like, okay, I can have online friends and really dictate my environment in that way. And so I just started mimicking everything that these guys were doing, everything that these guys were saying. I would literally watch videos like this, like self-improvement videos on the gym, on all the different business models. Like, I've tried so many different businesses in the last 4.5 years. And that's what I did, bro. Reinvented myself, thought of I was already that person, and then just carried out the actions on a daily basis. I stopped wasting time, because I was just like, I'm fucking behind right now, bro. And I need to fucking work. I need to work. If I'm not working, it's literally just time, another breath wasted. Another breath wasted. My future that I see in my head, another day further. And I remember it so clear as day, bro, when I had to like go back to working at Target, or I had to go back to a regular job at one point in my journey, or I fell back again, whatever it was. I just remember thinking to myself, like, okay, if I go to work today, bro, and something happens after work, like something where I need to help, my family, or it's a busy day and I can't put in work or whatever. I just remember thinking to myself, like, that's literally a day wasted. That's literally a day gone. Because I'm behind. I'm playing catch up. There's people doing their work full time. There's people that are already ahead of me and doing their shit, and they're still outworking me. It's like, how can you expect to catch up to somebody, but they're working harder than you and they're more ahead of you? Like, that's how I always had to think of things. Like, dude, these guys are already further ahead of me. And they're already, because they have that advantage and like hit that exponential growth, there's no way that I'm gonna catch up unless I work like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times harder than they are. Plus I have a regular job, plus I have everything else that I need to do. And especially being in the beginning stages too, it was like, nothing made sense, bro, if it didn't have to do with the betterment and just carrying out stuff that were actually gonna progress me forward. And that's literally the mindset that you have to get into, bro, to create that urgency, to create that change for yourself. It's like, it needs to be urgent. It needs to come from a place of like deep within, bro, because when you get hit with the shots in this journey, if you're not strong, if there's not big change reasoning for wanting to do this, it's gonna hit you, bro, and you're gonna stay on the ground. You won't get up. And it's like, until you put yourself in that mindset that nothing else matters unless you're successful, like, it won't happen, bro. It literally won't. And so you have to dig deep. You have to think about your life. You have to just put yourself in a place where it's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking grind, bro. And then, I'll probably make this a different video, but I kind of talk about this a lot, where I'm like, I isolated myself, and should you even be talking to girls on this grind, or having certain things going on? Like, can you still have hobbies and grind? To be honest, guys, I think you can. You probably can, bro. And you probably should, in a way. I didn't, and that's why I don't think I did it a lot of times like in the most healthiest way, because I kind of like disappeared for fucking 4 years, and didn't talk to nobody, left all my friends. Like, you just go into like ultimate isolation. But because of that, I've developed a certain way. But the thing is, like, what I'm getting at is, bro, you can still go and focus on yourself and isolate the distractions, and still improve, bro, and still get better and have these ways of thinking. It's just like, if you're gonna have a girl, maybe you do have a girl, maybe you're still gonna be on the lookout for like a really good girl or whatever, or sports, whatever it is, right? You just have to prioritize your tasks, bro, and prioritize your life. I'm like, okay, what is number one at all times? What's gonna stay number one at all times? And then in that, can you like make everything else work, right? So for example, like, if you have a girl, bro, or you want a girl, it's like, what I do nowadays is, if I'm talking to a girl, I'll always let her know. It's like, hey, just so you know, I'm not the guy that's gonna fucking text you back all day. Like, I got shit to do. I'll probably call you at night or whatever. But it's because like, I prioritize my shit, because if my shit doesn't go prioritized, no shit goes prioritized, right? It's like, if my stuff doesn't work, nothing will work. Because like I was saying in the beginning of the video, nothing else made sense if my dreams didn't work, right? And so that's why it's like you can still do some of the stuff you're doing, bro. I would just recommend, especially early on, you have to limit the distractions. You have to put yourself in a different mindset. You have to recreate yourself mentally and then go out and carry out the way you see yourself, and that's will dictate those actions. And just be smart about it. But there has to be that like fire, bro. There has to be that urgency. There has to be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking be the best. I always say like all or nothing. Because if it's not all or nothing, bro, are you really gonna go hard enough? Or imagine like the results you have. Imagine how many more results you could have, how much more you could have because of how much more you could have put in. Like that's just always how I think about it. And that's why nothing really made sense if I'm not gonna do it 100%. But boys, it's getting cold out here. I didn't realize how cold it would get so fast. Sun's going down. But gentlemen, hopefully you took something valuable from this video. I love you boys as always. Put yourself in that mindset to fucking endlessly win, to endlessly conquer. And I'll see you gentlemen in the next video.